The 2026 class has officially started for Michigan State basketball, and yeah, Tom Izzo started this one with a bang at point guard.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week, right here at the wonderful Locked On Podcast Network. Please rate, review, subscribe, comment below your thoughts on that's right, the 2026 class for Michigan State basketball getting started with a bang with four-star Carlos Medlock Jr. committing to Michigan State to kick off our weekends. I mean, as if the weekend couldn't start any better for us here in Michigan. Beautiful weather, sun shining, summer's up in this Mitten State, just simply can't get greater than they already are. And then you get Carlos Medlock committing. And yeah, guys, hey, let's get the ball rolling on this 2026 class with the 5'11" point guard from Wayne, Michigan. Again, guys, 5'11", 165 pounds. Now, who else did Michigan State beat for his services here? Well, that school down the road, Michigan, they had an offer out for him. Also, down in Big Ten country, Iowa had an offer for him. And Creighton, who obviously a respectable program, also have quite the bankroll over there in Blue Jay country too. So those are schools that you just don't sneeze at when you beat them on the recruiting trail. And you can simply see why Tom Izzo wanted this kid so badly in his 2026 class because, hey, look, you know what? Every single player in high school has a flaw, right? Unless you're a Cooper Flagg, for example. But you know what this guy doesn't have as a flaw? He's not going to have scoring the basketball as a flaw. So, yes, he is a point guard. He is really solid at distributing the ball. We're going to learn about his rebounding numbers here in a hot second, too. But, guys, this is a three-level score. He could do it at the rim. He could do it with the mid-range game. He's got a nice little crafty footwork that he uses for these little 10, 12-foot shots. And a solid shooter from three-point land, too. And even though he is listed at 5'11", there is a little bit of him that does play above the rim. There's a few clips out there on social media of him throwing down some dunks. Some of them may or may not be against guys that are committed to that school down the road. Who's to say? I don't know. I'm barely on social media. I can't keep up with you kids. But anyway, guys, this is going to be an offensive threat right off the rip here for Michigan State. And our good friend, Dave Klein, that's right, of Spartans Illustrated, he tweeted this out too, throwing out his AAU numbers. He tweeted out Medlock Jr. averaged 21.1 points per game, 2.9 assists per game, 4.1 rebounds per game, not too shabby for a point guard, on 47 36, 79 splits shooting the ball. So that's 47% from the field, 36 from three-point land, and then 79% from the free throw stripe. At Wayne Memorial High School last year, those splits were even a little higher. His three-point percentage was closer to 39%. The free throws was about 82. But nevertheless, let's just keep going on with what Dave Klein had to tweet out here. Also said that he shot the ball from three-point land 5.5 times per game on the Adidas circuit this summer. Three-level bucket getter who plays with a chip, and that's what I love about this kid too. I know it's so cliche. It's so corny. It sounds just borderline lazy to talk about a guy having that dog in him, right? Like, ooh, he's got a mean streak to him. He's competitive, but I got to say, and this is going to sound arrogant, but if there's one fan base that can actually identify a guy that plays like a dog, that does have this streak of competitiveness to him that no one else does, I like to think it's us Michigan State fans, guys that have watched Tom Izzo recruit these sort of players into his program for nearly 3 decades now, and more times than not, seen it pay off. So along with all the offensive upside guys, I assume that he's a solid defender as well. I'm not going to claim to see every single bit of film out here and see his defensive tenacity, but I'm just going to blindly assume that if Tom Izzo is recruiting this kid, he has some competency on defense when it comes to that side of the ball. So to go further into his pedigree, guys, again, Carlos Medlock Jr., his dad, named Carlos Medlock, as you could probably figure out, He's no stranger to the game of basketball either. He was a star in high school in Detroit. He also played 4 years at Eastern Michigan and really balled out there enough to get him a 12-year European overseas basketball career once his time was done at Eastern Michigan. So, back to the kid. He's a 4-star, okay, but right now he is number 118 in the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings, the number 10 overall point guard in the country. So that might seem like a low-ish ranking, even though he is a 4-star. We're going to get into this in a little more, and it's not just me talking about that, hey, he might get a rankings boost here. Someone that is a lot more important than I am will have something to say about that here when we read off another tweet. But hey, let's keep going in with this kid's pedigree here. Last year as a junior at Wayne Memorial High School in Michigan, he was all-state last year, okay? He guided his team to the Division I Finals, where they finished as runner-ups to East Lansing, who was a juggernaut last year. They lost by 20 points, but man, East Lansing was just buzzsaw on every single team last year. That is a strapped team with talent here. So this year he is going outside the state of Michigan, just like pretty much every top-level recruit does these days. He is going to be at Link Academy in the wonderful tropical city of Branson, Missouri. So this is one of these, classic up-and-coming high schools that plays a national schedule. It is definitely a very basketball-forward school. And some of their alumni, just to go down a list, Trey Johnson. Okay, he was not too shabby last year for Texas. He got drafted in the top 10 this year. Jacoby Walter played great at Baylor last year, picked just outside of the lottery this year. Julian Phillips, Jordan Walsh, if you guys know those names. If you don't, they were both second-round picks this year. Elliot Cadeau, who played at North Carolina. He's going to play at Michigan next year. He went to Link Academy. Felix Akpara, who started his career at Ohio State, now at Tennessee. He also started at Link Academy. So you get the picture. Okay, this isn't some new thing that kids do, but this is another school that is a basketball factory. He's going to learn plenty at Link Academy before coming back home to the great state of Michigan. So we also just read off, hey, his ranking is 118th in the country, right? Like, I thought we only do top 60 players here in East Lansing. Why are we getting so excited for a guy that's ranked outside the top 100s? When will this homer ever stop backing up every and anything Tom Izzo does? Well, guys, it's not just me. We're going to read off 2 tweets here from guys that have, pretty highly regarded opinions. Now, the first is Fran Fraschilla of ESPN. He tweeted out, an NBA friend saw this young man in the spring and, though unranked, thought he was one of the best point guards in the country. I promise you that he will be ranked very high soon. The moral for college coaches here: trust your own eyes. Okay, and if that wasn't good enough for you beautiful people, well, here's one from Paul Biancardi. He heads up all the things recruiting at ESPN. He tweeted out, he is a fiercely competitive point guard with a high basketball IQ, enabling him to score or set up his teammates. We expect to see him in our next rankings update in August. So, yes, you got your rivals, you got your On 3, you got your 24/7 Sports. ESPN, 2 pretty important figures there saying that, yeah, he's going to be getting the rankings bump here in a little bit in August. So, guys, if you don't feel sold about him, I don't know what else to tell you. Izzo loves him. That right there is enough for me to do it. My eyeballs like him when I'm seeing what he's doing at Wayne Memorial and then also on the AAU circuit, whether it is just watching the YouTube clips or looking at the numbers that he's putting up. I don't tell you, this is a great way to start a class here, guys. It is an outstanding benefit because also, let's be honest here, there's one knock against the kid. It is 5'11" is what he's listed as. And can you get drafted? Can you leave college early, even as someone that's below 6 feet? Sure, you can. It's quite difficult, though. And nothing's guaranteed in this age of college sports. But if there's ever a time to get a 4-year player at point guard, it is someone like Medlock, who's going to be undersized, who might just ball out all 4 years here, but, hey, might not see himself on any draft board. So, hey, might as well just keep coming back to MSU. Keep on getting some sweet NIL should things be going that way. So that is one benefit right there off the rip. The offensive clay is there to mold. Can we expect him to just drop 20 points immediately in college? No. But, man, I like what I'm seeing right now as he comes into Michigan State, who could be the best offensive point guard in quite some time here at Michigan State, just as a true freshman. And also what I like too, guys, and we'll get into more of this in the second segment, is that you locked him up before grind week. But before we talk about grind week, guys, need to talk everyone's ears off about Monarch Money. That's right. Hey guys, ever wish managing your money felt easier? Well, I know that I do many a time. With Monarch Money, it can. It's just that simple. Whenever you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Now, Monarch Money is more than just a simple budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you are also building that wealth, guys. Are you one of those people out there that have many different accounts across different banks and you just want it all in just one happy place instead of remembering every password and logging into 1,000 apps and then just trying to tabulate it all? Guys, that's what Monarch does. They make it so easy, just giving you one view of how everything is going across all your accounts. So hey, what are you waiting for out there? Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. So what does this mean for Michigan State in 2026 when Medlock does come on campus? Let's just go down the roster or the depth chart, however you want to describe it really quick here, because 2026, when that season tips off, okay, you're going to have third year of Jeremy Fear's eligibility, his fourth year in reality, third year of Divine Ukachukwu, the transfer point guard from Miami, and then Medlock. Okay, that's your stable right there of point guards. That's actually a lot of point guards. I wonder if Medlock plays even a little bit off ball his freshman year, but those are conversations we could have at a future time. Shooting guard, junior year, Kerr Tang. Then after that, question marks. I do not know. Okay, your small forward, Cohen Carr, if he's still around, I think the plan is for this to be his last year. Hopefully that he hits his ceiling. He sees himself on some draft boards. But hey, just to keep the conversation going for your small forwards outside of Cohen Carr, should he be back or not? Sophomore year, Jordan Scott, Caleb Glenn coming back from that leg injury. Power forward is Cam Ward. Look around the room. There's not really anyone else. And then your center is Jesse McCulloch. So, guys, let's say that Carr does stay. Okay, and we're going to include Medlock in this count too. That's 9 guys taking up scholarships. And long ago are the caps for scholarships, basically. I mean, yes, it was at 13. It is now going to be 15 scholarships, quote unquote, or roster spots you can use now in college basketball. I just don't think Michigan State, rosters 15 scholarship players, let alone maybe even not 13. It could just be this 12 number that they've been kind of content with lately here. So I'm going to give you some really boring answers as to where they're going to go next on the recruiting trail. If you followed along there at all, point guard's really the only set in stone position. Like shooting guard, junior year Kerr Tang. And then after that, Trey Fort's out of eligibility after this year. You're going to need someone there, whether it is, kind of just groom someone into that role as a freshman, or you want to go out in the transfer portal, get someone that's more college ready. That's for the staff to decide. They could do that with every single position moving forward here, guys. Power forward, center. It's all up for grabs. So I would love to come on here and say, I expect them to go to this position specifically next. That they have 9 guys on the roster, maybe 8 if Cohen Carr is not around. No shortage of opportunity, whether it's through the high school ranks, the transfer portal ranks, most likely both, to get a lot of guys here. So what is next in the world of recruiting, actually, come to think of it? Well, we mentioned grind week. Now, this is one of my favorite traditions. It's one that I'm, of course, not even a part of. I think I'll actually die in the first 10 minutes should I have been involved in a grind week, but I just love this. Now, if you're not hip to what grind week is, former players, current players, future players, they come to Michigan State, they come to Breslin Center, and it is basically a long weekend of grueling workouts, some great 5-on-5 action with all these great basketball players in the same building. So it's a reunion, it's a workout, it's a death gauntlet, but it's also a great way to recruit for the next year's class. And this is a unique circumstance that Michigan State got to commit before grind week even starts. Last year, the 2 kids, they committed later on in October. So it's not always the case that you have someone or some commits already in your class before grind week. But hey, here we are. Medlock, he commits for grind week, and he is not the only confirmed visitor coming to campus, which is going to be the same weekend as the Boston College football game this year, should anyone want to, just keep tabs on that. It's actually very cool. I often tailgate in the Breslin Center parking lot. And during grind week, you'll see old and familiar faces just walk by your tailgate. It's very cool. So go ahead and just, set up shop right there if you just want to get a look at these guys, maybe snap a selfie or two. But other confirmed visitors. This is from Justin Sind of 24/7 Sports. Yes, it's Medlock, but also 2 names popped up for Justin Sin to confirm here. The first one, Josiah Jervis, 6'4" shooting guard from the great state of New York. Now, he's a top 60 kid. Look, there's plenty of schools that are going to be after him, many Big Ten schools. Michigan State, obviously, pretty good standing with him early on. They're going to get him on campus for that official visit, but also what happened in the last week, I think 4 days ago at the time of recording, he got an offer from Florida. And like a few years ago, like, who cares? Like, oh no, Florida. Unfortunately, that actually means something now. The reigning national champs starting to offer your kids that you're after. That's a very appealing school all of a sudden to go to. So again, like, am I going to wave the white flag and say Jervis is no shot of coming to Michigan State? No, but that's going to be a hard recruitment to win. Same with this kid, Quinn Costello, the other confirmed name for grind week right now. 6'11", stretch 4 from Boston. Now this kid, just like Jervis, he ranks inside the top 75. And yeah, he's everything that the modern day guy that's taller than 6'9" wants to be. You know, like, there's hardly any actual, like, centers anymore. I feel like it's all kids that are trying to stretch the floor. And why wouldn't you? Like, if you're 6'11", you're seeing what is going on in drafts. You're seeing what's going on in recruiting. Like, this is what's valued now. A back to the basket center. Oh boy. Please, my God, Obama's first term hadn't even started the last time that position was relevant, it seems like, but here we are. 6'11" stretch guy. So that would be an impressive get for Michigan State. This kid's recruitment has certainly blown up. He's got about 30 Division I offers right now at the time of recording. So, hey, if they could sway this kid away from the East Coast, he is from Boston. We'll see. But hey, again, it is nice to get these guys in the door for grind week, not just for Medlock to kind of recruit to Michigan State, but also it doesn't hurt to have Draymond Green in the ear of some of these kids, right? It doesn't hurt to have some NBA players' voices in these kids' ears. So there you have it. That's the latest that I got for grind week. But there is one other recruiting nugget that I just did want to talk about here. Latrell Almond. Now, again, he is not confirmed for grind week, but hey, something cool happened last week. Is that this top 30 kid, 6'8" power forward, he narrowed down his 9 top schools. And you could already probably figure out that, yes, Michigan State is one of these schools. Now, here's where the competition is going to lie here. Arizona, Indiana, Kansas, Maryland, Miami, Oklahoma State, Tennessee, and Virginia are the other 8 schools. So we'll see how this goes for Michigan State. No official visit set, but hey, you're in the top 9, so at least you still have a fighting chance with this top 30 kid in the country here. Again, guys, 6'8" power forward, Latrell Almond. In other news, this is not recruiting at all, but this happened last week. Just want to give my 2 cents on it. This is awesome, I think. For the exhibition season, Michigan State, they're going to go to Yukon on October 28th, again, for an exhibition game. Will not count, and this is a trend. In an era of college sports where it seems like every new trend actually kind of sucks, this is actually a trend that we're seeing in college basketball that I think is awesome. Is just power teams scheduling against each other because, hey, if you lose, oh my God, who cares? It's not a knock against you. You actually probably pick up a lot of valuable lessons along the way before your season actually starts. But if you win, sure, you also pick up those valuable lessons, but oh my goodness, what a load of confidence you got going into your season. So Michigan State at Stores, no more details on top of all that. But yeah, UConn, that's a good team to have on your schedule. And that's not to say that Michigan State, they only schedule really good teams in the exhibition season. We all know this by now as Michigan State fans, but they still will have Kentucky. They'll have Duke. They'll have Arkansas on their actual schedule. North Carolina down in Fort Myers Beach. So it's going to be a fun season for Michigan State, but I mean, that's just pretty much what you come to expect here as a Spartan fan, which is great. Thank you, Tom Izzo, for keeping things exciting. Now, guys, we're going to switch it up here. We're going to go to football, but we are going to stick with recruiting. We got a great mailbag question wondering, Well, what coaches should get the most credit for recruiting? And we're actually going to go even further behind the curtain. We're going to shine some light on some guys that really don't get enough shine for football recruiting. But first, need to talk everyone's ears off about Gametime, my favorite ticketing app out there, guys. And we've all been there. Logging on early, waiting forever to see concert tickets go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show you've been dying to see. And I get it. I was in those trenches with my wife for Taylor Swift tickets. And for this next concert we're going to, Rufus Du Sol at Pine Knob, we didn't even bother with that. We just went right to Gametime, guys, because they make getting concert tickets so fast, so easy. And prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime. Now, if you're like me, you just couldn't wait to get your hands on these tickets, you can take advantage of great flash deals weeks, months ahead of the event like I did for this concert coming up. Or, hey, if you're a procrastinator or just spur of the moment, 1 minute, you just said, I do want to go see this concert, you can save up to 60% off with killer last minute deals. It is so easy with Gametime. You just take a look at the tickets. It is 2 taps on your phone and bang, the tickets are sent straight to your phone. Take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime, guys. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, grab your swimsuits and your snorkel mask, everyone, because we are going swimming in the mailbag over at lockedonspartans@gmail.com. Now, if you ever have any questions, of course, lockedonspartans@gmail.com or Sheehan_sports on Twitter. So, Duke wrote in a short and sweet question. I was wondering which MSU football coaches were the primary recruiters for the most players in next year's class and which coaches recruited the most highly ranked players. Thank you from Duke. And so, guys, I mean, it's the answer you expect for a lot of these guys. It's, you know, the position coach was the primary recruiter for these guys. Like, it makes sense that Colin Campbell, his main guy was Jim Maholchek, your offensive line coach. Like Braylon Hodge, the linebacker, that's Joe Rossi, who's not just the defensive coordinator, but let's not forget also the linebackers coach. So for guys that are, you know, wide receivers, and there's certainly no shortage of great receivers coming in next year's class, Courtney Hawkins. So it is a lot of these guys, the position coaches, right? And that's not to say that, you know, other position coaches help based on the area that they are also responsible for. But let's just take a peek even further behind the curtain, guys, right? Because it isn't just the position coaches, the names that you may or may not already know that head up each position group. But there's a lot of guys behind the scenes that have done a lot of work. And I reached out to a few different people in the program that follow the program recruiting very closely, and they gave me a few great names. And even before I reached out, you know, a little bit before the week to see, hey, who deserves more shine? This is a guy's name that I've been hearing like plenty during this recruiting cycle, and it is a very familiar name. You will know this one if you've been watching Michigan State football for more than 5 years, and that is Antoine Simmons, former linebacker, comes back to the program in a low-ranking staff role under Mel Tucker, sticks it along with the Jonathan Smith tenure, and now, well, not only is he an assistant defensive line coach, but he was a big factor in a lot of these recruitings. Whether it is, you know, he was attached to Fasiale, okay, that's the edge guy out of Seattle. Okay, a lot of headway made with him thanks to Antoine Simmons. But he's also speaking up and, you know, making changes, what kids would like, because he's also younger than a lot of these guys. He can relate to a lot of these recruits more than coaches can. And that's not to say like these coaches are just old geriatrics that have no idea what they're doing. It's that he offers insight and he is confident in speaking up about that with the staff. So he's shaking it up a little bit with the staff, just even as the assistant defensive line coach. Also, other guys that we kept hearing too, and these might be guys that you already know, like it's the stable that he came in from Oregon State with, guys like Cole Moore, Michael Doctor, but also Sean Levy. I've heard Malik Gill's name a few times. Now, Malik Gill, he's a director of recruiting communications. I heard that, you know, he set up a lot of different things from years past on these official visits. I heard Kurt Richardson's name. Now, this is a director of player engagement. I was actually very fortunate enough to meet Kurt a few years ago. And my God, just within 20 seconds of the conversation, you could see why guys would, you know, really appreciate having him around the program. And maybe if you're a recruit, stay tight with the guy. So along with that, Chris Gordon, assistant defensive backs coach. He was big in the Jeremiah Favorite commitment. And then Darius Hicks was another name that I heard too. Now, Darius Hicks director of scouting. He's more of a portal guy, so not even high school recruiting. But yeah, I mean, I know it's a long list of names, maybe some names you've never heard before and may never even hear again. But it's not just the coordinators. It's not just position coaches. There is an army of guys working behind the scenes here to get these kids commitments. So just wanted to shout all those guys out. Thank you very much for Duke for that question. Now, another mailbag question that we got here. This is from Joey. This is a tough one. MSU is guaranteed to win one football and one basketball national title before you die, but you don't know when. Based on how the Detroit Tigers are playing, I don't know if I can make it another week, man. The catch is you have to be Sparty at every home game for both sports the rest of your life. Do you make that deal? I'm going to be I wrestled with this one. I would love to be the martyr, and hey, you know what? Everyone gets to enjoy a national title. All I got to do is just see all these games for the next few decades, should I be blessed to live that long, through the two fuzzy eye holes of Sparty. But man, I got to say, I do love the idea of watching just decades of Michigan State sports to come with friends, family. I mean, God forbid my two children want to grow up and be Michigan State fans, because why wouldn't they want to follow in dad's healthy footsteps? But hey, should they want to go that route, I'd be more than happy to watch these games with them. And not, hey, where's dad? Why is he never at these games? Oh, that's right. He's that giant mascot down there, and he never even sees us during these games. I sure miss him. I wonder if he's going to come home safe tomorrow. And that is really a task to be at every home game, too. I'm not going to lie. Like, oh, man, life gets busy. Life gets busy, and going to every single home game to be Sparty, that would chew up a lot of the schedule here, guys, especially for basketball when some of these are like 9 p.m. tips on a Tuesday. And I do love the idea of not being on the brink of heat stroke for these September football games too. But with that said, above everything I just labeled and named and all my worries that I have, there's one other thing that I really don't like doing, and that's upsetting people. Except for the fans over there in Ann Arbor. I got a great time doing that here and there. But I will dive on the sword. I will wear the giant size 27 shoes. I will wear the 45 pounds of armor that Sparty does have, because it's been far too long for a national title for either sport, guys. And the euphoria that we could all live off of, who am I kidding? I'd love to be responsible for that. That'd be great. Doesn't always have to be about me, but I would like a pat on the back should that happen. So, yeah, give me the Sparty head. Give me the heat stroke in September. Give me not seeing my kids on any weekend in the fall for home games. I'll take the national title. You are welcome in this hypothetical. Guys, we are going to end it here with a 3-pack of questions from Ray, who always delivers the goods here. Now, Ray writes in, you know how you lamented the decline of the Spartans and Badgers with the guy from Locked on Badgers. I also lament the fact that beating Rutgers is no longer something we can take for granted. Do you remember how terrifying the prospect of losing to the glass jaw of Power 5 football used to be? Now, this is more of a credit to how good Rutgers has gotten under Greg Schiano and less of like, oh, Michigan State has fallen this far. Although we certainly have at this point. Let's not just act like nothing's going on here. But I do remember that. I do remember sitting in Spartan Stadium 2018, down 7-10 late in the fourth quarter against Rutgers, and wondering how I'm going to light the entire stadium on fire with the very limited supplies that I had at the moment. I think I just had my wallet, my phone, my keys, and a chapstick. I didn't have anything else, but we would have had no choice but to light Spartan Stadium on fire should they have lost that game. Now losing to Rutgers still sucks. Losing to anyone sucks, but it is respectable now. But who is the doormat of the Big Ten? It's got to be Purdue right now, right? And that was another scary situation last year when they had the ball with the chance to take the lead in the fourth quarter. Oh, my God, you see the hairline right now. That game did no help to it. Man, I do miss that automatic win, though, with Rutgers. But, hey, you know what? Good for them to get off the mat. Question number 2. Last year, I asked you who MSU would upset, and you correctly picked Iowa. That's right. We were very loud about that. Do you have any sage predictions for this year? Now, Ray, I don't want to, lock it in a vault and put cement over it and really stake this as my guarantee yet, but I've got a hunch that the upset this year, and there is no shortage of them, it's Iowa again. It's Iowa again. That's right. I'm a little reluctant to say that any of the big upsets, which would be Michigan and Penn State as the home games, I don't think that any of those are going to be cemented as upsets just yet, okay? I could be talked into it later on in the season against Michigan, but before I know anything about anything with any of these teams, hear me out on Iowa, guys. I mean, look, you know how it's going to be. First team to 20 wins this game. Although last year was a shootout, it was the first team to 30, which was an oddity with Spartans versus Hawkeyes. But anyway, what we do know is that, Iowa's just going to be this classic team. The offense will be the defense will be great, but also they are at USC the week prior. And they have Nebraska coming up after the Michigan State game, that heated rivalry against the Huskers. Could this be a letdown game from the West Coast at USC? Could this be a look-ahead game as they're peaking to Lincoln and seeing the Nebraska Cornhuskers? Very well could be. Can MSU catch them sleeping? MSU, yes, they have a tough challenge the week before. They play Penn State. They might take some lumps there. But I don't think they'll have a lookover game with Maryland next week. No disrespect to the Terrapins. But I like Michigan State's odds in that one. I got to say, I think this upset's going to come on the road here this season. Why not have it be at Iowa? Do it all over again to the Hawkeyes. And question number 3, is Chris Solari a robot? No, Chris is a nice guy. You know what? Back in my state news days, which were 12 years ago now at this point. Jesus, oh my God, I'm so old. He's a nice guy. Take it easy on Chris Solari, guys. Come on now. He comes in peace. He means no harm. I like Chris Solari. So, all right, guys, with that said, keep it tuned here. Locked on Spartans, your team in green and white. I hope you guys have a great week. We got a full rack of shows coming up for you right here, the Locked On Podcast Network. But hey, until then, take care of yourselves, guys. Love you all. Go green.